everybody, Ryan FMG here, and just a couple days ago, Teppen announced the new hero, the new card set, the new hero powers, and actually gave us some cards. Over the weekend, I already talked about the new hero as well as her hero powers. Today, I want to talk about the legendary action cards that they spoiled, plus Crush. So why don't we first start with Crush. Crush is a new keyword ability, and this says deal damage when attacking without taking counter damage. So the one that they show right here is 5 MP for 2/5 with Heavy Pierce, Crush, Ascend, gain +2/+3. And what's really cool about this is Crush really wants you to have a lot of attack so you could just hit very hard and not take any damage back. Yes, of course, the unit with Crush will take some damage when the opponent's unit actually is attacking you or your hero, right? It will do the defense damage, but it doesn't take any offense damage, which is very strong and very different, at least I think, from other cards that we've seen or other keywords that we've seen. And I think this has a very likelihood to be very good, especially when you're pairing it up with like Ascend, where so if you get the Ascend trigger, it's +2/+3, so that's going to be a 4/8 with Heavy Pierce and Crush just for 5 MP. That seems very good. Or are we going to see some actions that, you know, are 2 MP or whatever MP cost, give one of your friendly units Crush? Because, man, giving some units Crush that are maybe a little weak, but with tons of attack seems super good, because then it's like, well, like I said before, if you don't have tons of HP, but you have tons of attack with Crush, you can kill your opponent's units before they can kill your units. So Crush seems pretty cool, pretty fun, and I'm excited to see more cards with Crush to kind of see how powerful they will actually be. Now it's time to talk about the real topic at hand today. There are 4 legendary actions that they previewed just a couple days ago, and all of them have similar themes. As they said, it's new action cards that feature effects that strengthen your hero. So let's look at the red one. You know, each color has one, hence why there are 4. So the red one is called Sun Goddess, very fitting with the photo and everything. It's 3 MP, and it says if your hero is red, and all of them have that caveat of like, you know, the red one is for red, green is for green. But anyways, if your hero is red, they gain reduce all damage friendly units take by 1, and increase all damage enemy units take by 1 for 25 seconds. This is very interesting because we don't see tons of things that are only for X amount of seconds or minutes or something like that. We've seen a little bit with purple and MP ramp, but you know, not tons. So this is very interesting, and it's a little bit harder to evaluate cards because you're like, this effect's pretty good, but it only lasts for 25 seconds. And then you have to be like, well, how long is 25 seconds in a game of Teppen? Well, Teppen can only last 50 seconds, so 25 seconds is kind of a while, but not tons by any means. So let's look at the effect. Reduce all damage your friendly units take by 1. It's a pretty nice effect, right? That can definitely make their removal spells worse, or if they're playing BB hoods, the BB hood doesn't do as much damage when it enters the battlefield, and just makes some trades more favorable for you. As well as increase all damage enemy units take by 1, kind of exactly what I said, you know, before, besides all your BB hoods do more damage. All your units attacking their enemy units deal more damage. So it's pretty good because you're getting more attack power and more kind of defense power all at the same time. Of note though, this has nothing to do with your hero or your opponent's heroes. It's all their units. So this does not deal more damage to their hero or something like that. So if you really want to get their life total down to 0 as fast as possible, maybe this isn't a card that you're playing. However, I think this seems like a very good action card overall, especially for Ryu Hadoken type of a list, where it has tons of enter the battlefield ETB effects that are all throwing around damage, like, you know, Rashid and BB hoods and all those things, which, you know, let's be real, Ryu Hadoken Humans has been really good. You put this in, well, you have 25 seconds, so you net 10 MP, you play this, and then you drop some BB hoods and all that to just make everything strengthen. It's kind of like a Leon Kennedy on an action card that your opponent can't deal with, right? Once this resolves, you have 25 seconds, and then it just really helps with your trade. So overall, I think this card is pretty darn good. And it is a little hard to evaluate, right? Like I said, but I think it has a very strong effect that could really hit home in some red decks, and it only costs 3 MP. 3 MP is not that much by any means. Next up is 7 Soaring Spirits. This is the green one. It's 2 MP. If your hero is green, they gain when a friendly unit is placed on the field, randomly distribute a total of +4 points between friendly units' HP and your own life for 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds is a little bit more than 25 seconds, so that's kind of nice. This is 2 MP, which is extremely cheap, and it's an extreme HP/life gain spell, which can be really good. However, you do have to be playing units, so you definitely want to, net your 10 MP or something like that, play this, and then just play 3 units back to back to back. And I will say, more times than not, you're probably not getting more than 3 triggers of this effect in the 30 seconds. Because 1, it's 30 seconds, you only have so much MP that you will gain in that amount of time. And 2, your opponent just might not kill anything, right? If you do what I said of you play this, then you go boom, 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 unit, 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 your opponent will wait till those 30 seconds are over to kill something more likely. However, +4 points times 3 is 12 points, and that's a lot of points. More times than not, you would hope that those points probably go to your units to strengthen them. However, hey, if some of that health points go to your life total and makes a little life buffer a little bit easier and safer, then that does not seem that bad. So I think this one seems pretty darn good, especially that it's just 2 MP. That is super cheap. Next up, we have Diplomacy of Love. It's 3 MP. If your hero is purple, they give -1 attack and slow to all enemy units for 20 seconds. 3 MP. Pretty low, right? Everything is like 2 or 3 MP so far, and spoiler alert, black's 2. So everything is 2 or 3 MP, so they're all very cheap. 20 seconds is the smallest amount of time that we have seen so far, and 20 seconds, in all honesty, seems pretty short. I know 30 seconds seems like a good amount, 25 seconds seems like a pretty decent amount. 20 seconds is pretty low. However, give -1 attack is pretty nice. That will be good to buffer your life total or do some trades on the board. And giving your opponent slow, things move so slow when the units are affected with slow, hence why it is called slow, right? They move at like half the speed. So this seems really, really good in like a Dante Devil Trigger burn list, or just a Devil Trigger that you just want to slow down your opponents and kind of mess with what they're doing. This actually seems very, very good for this. Does this seem great for all purple decks? No, not by any means, but a lot of purple decks wouldn't mind this because it just kind of gives you some more time to net some MP or do some trades and deal with what your opponent's doing. So overall, I think this one seems pretty darn good too. Last but definitely not least is Dark Exchange. This is 2 MP, so extremely cheap. If your hero is black, they gain friendly black units gain revenge. And when a friendly unit dies, sacrifice 1 life for 60 seconds. This one scares me. Revenge is a very, very strong mechanic and kind of broken sometimes. Like look at Sigma, stuff like that, or look at, Execution with what I've been doing and other people have been doing with Ouroboros of giving your big devils and tyrants, revenge. This helps you give any black unit that doesn't have revenge and maybe shouldn't have revenge. And it's for 60 seconds, which 60 seconds is a very long time. That's a whole minute. That's 1/5 of a Teppen match. And not all Teppen matches go to 5 minutes. So this is 1/5 of the allotted time that you can go in Teppen. And yes, your unit has to die to trigger the revenge and blah, blah, blah. So there are hoops to jump through, but there's also like Selfish Predation and Mad Massacres and other ways to deal with that of killing your units, stuff like that. This one kind of scares me the most. I think intrinsically, this one seems the most powerful and kind of seems maybe the one that's the most broken, because other times you're just talking about like, oh, you deal a little bit more damage, or oh, you gain a little bit life, or decrease your opponent's attacking speed and stuff like that just for a little bit, right? 20 to 30 seconds. This is like, no, here's some big fatties that shouldn't have revenge with revenge. Have fun. Hopefully you draw them sooner rather than later. And that's not even really building around it. This could just go in a lot of black decks as just a pure value-based thing because revenge is intrinsically value. So maybe I am evaluating this one a little bit too much, but this one I'm very excited to play with, don't get me wrong, but I'm a little scared because it seems very, very strong. So overall, those are the 4, strengthen your hero legendary action cards, one for each each color, and I kind of like them across the board. I think some are definitely a lot stronger than others, but all of them I'm kind of like, okay, I kind of want to play. Right off the bat, push comes to shove, if you were like, okay, rank them from best to worst, I do think that it goes black, then red, then I would say green and purple. And overall, I definitely think the black and red one, I think, are quite a bit above the green one, and then green is still quite a little bit above the purple one. But I wouldn't be surprised if all of them see play, because that effect is kind of new, and it seems very hard for your opponent to deal with, right? Because it's not on a unit. It's yes, they can counter it, but if they don't counter it, well, you're stuck with that effect for 20 to 60 seconds. Have fun, opponent. But anyways, that's it for me today. I'm excited to keep on seeing more and more cards. I'm not sure how many videos I'll make about all of the cards, because I will be doing a full set review of talking about each and every card when the full set does come out early October. So maybe I'll do a couple more of these, or maybe I'll just wait. We'll kind of see. We'll see how itchy and excited I am to share my thoughts with everyone. But that's it for me today. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all next time.